Hi, this is Uniquely Cindy again. I am in another cemetery. Now, this is not a roadside cemetery, it is a town cemetery. I am outside of Spring Hope, North Carolina, and it's a pretty cemetery. Grounds are well kept, fairly large cemetery, for this area, because most cemeteries around here are small, unless they're located in the center of the towns. But something that I did find very interesting out here is the vast array of graves. For example, we have these graves, and it looks like at a later date, the names were written on the stone slabs on top, but at a later date, memorial slabs were come in and updated. Now, a lot of times with these graves also, most of these graves that I'm looking at so far are in the 1900s as far as passage, 1976, 1999, 1980. So they're not, in perspective to what I usually am hunting, are not that old of graves. And here's one that's a simple wooden cross with the gentleman's name on it. And so they're not that old of graves. So they're not, I think we're seeing a shift in cemetery customs. Something else that I noticed out here in this cemetery that I thought was very interesting, I have never seen it, and I've seen some interesting graves in my haunts, but what appears to be, and I could be wrong on this, but it's got the handles on it, what appears to be the tops of the actual vault that goes on the inside of the grave, that the coffin sets down in, and then they put a top on it, and then usually the grave is covered over. In my looking at cemeteries, it's covered over, and the stone, another stone is laid on top. But here I've seen several so far that looks like the actual vault top is what is being used as the top. You can see the handles here, and I'm just making an assumption that's what it is. It's interesting. I mean, the graves are nice, they're well maintained. And then several of the graves do have some damage to them. And they're not that old. So I don't know, it kind of took me a little bit by surprise. You expect to see some of this in older cemeteries. And I say they're not that old, but they're the 60s. They're 60 to 75 years old graves. This was the first one over here that I saw that looks like a vault topper as the gravestone. A nice little stone here saying Daddy, but then we have this. It's painted nicely, it's well maintained. It was just different than what I've experienced. And then we have a 5-month-old child here. I'm gonna walk around, so you might hear some clicks on the cemetery, on the video where I pause the video, because I want to walk around and see if I can find some more interesting topics to talk to everybody about. Got several World War I, World War II, and Vietnam veterans out here. So God bless their families and them. Thank you for your service. My father was he was a Vietnam veteran. And so I thank y'all and honor y'all for your service. I'm gonna put you on pause for a moment.